I'm sorry? Presents. What is the biggest gift most women want?
Not an arm.
Money.
Wow, Chuck. Time. Time. I'm telling you, it's time. We can give them all the gifts we want, but if we don't invest time, we're in trouble. If you look at relationships, the very first thing is, the relationship for me is my faith. Guys, my faith is very, very strong. I don't wear it on my sleeves, but if you're around me for very long, you're going to find out it's the grace of God that I'm here. I should not be here. In 4.5 years, I should not be standing before a group of friends. Many of you, I am sure, before the Chamber of Commerce, the Etowah Foundation, the Capitol, I go to corporate and Allstate, blah, blah, blah. The point is, I should not have the opportunity. But the good Lord has given me that opportunity, a platform that He expects something from. So I'm not ashamed to say my relationship with Jesus is very strong. I am certainly not perfect. It's just grace. The second is a relationship I have with my family. My wife, Becky, if any of you know her, she is very introverted, very quiet. She hates when I put her on the spot, but she balances us. I have 2 lovely children we adopted as newborns. And the third is your friends. Guys, you've got to have a relationship with your friends, because you know what? You've got to have people hold you accountable. You've got to have people that can be your cheerleader. In a community like this community wants to know you're relevant. When you come into this community, whether it be Adairsville, Emerson, Cartersville, White, anywhere, and if I missed a community, I'm sorry. The community doesn't want to know what you can do for the community. I'm just telling you. If you're an insider here, you probably don't realize it because you've been here. If you're an outsider like me that's been given a privilege, this community wants to know, first of all, are you here to stay? And how relevant will you be to our community? That's really what they want to know. And that comes in forms of investment, time, treasures, and talents, and so on. But too many people come into a community, feel a wall, and that wall is sometimes a real wall, but a wall to say, hey, we want to see if you're coming in to take or you're coming in to give. And if you're coming in and you run into that wall and you step away and say, you know what, this is almost a clique, or this is a tight community. It is a tight community. But it's because the community protects itself just like your family would. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
Okay. Second is engagement. I think most of you know I have no problem with engagement. Okay. I was an average wrestler that lost the track scholarship because I engaged my coach and I got kicked off the team as a senior. I'm not proud of that, but for the youth I would say, be careful what you say. He wanted me to run a mile. I said, I'm not running a mile. I said, you're going to run a mile. I said, I'm not going to run a mile. And he put me in the mile, and I didn't run the mile. And so he kicked me off the team, and I lost a track scholarship. So I went to college on a wrestling scholarship that I got the chance to walk on. I was pretty good. I went to finals in college, busted a kneecap. Not because I was real good at a lot of things, but I was very good at engagement. I am going to come at you and take you down and let you back up and take you down and let you back up and take you down. In life, you've got to be willing to get up and go. Life will knock you down. You will lose the promotion. You will lose the deal. You will lose, you will lose, you will lose. And if you give up, guess what? That's one less person in the race. If you get after it and keep going, eventually you will win. Because someone's going to get tired. In a match, someone's going to give up. It's just a matter of who first. And that's life. And the communities are much like that. How are we doing on time?
We're doing great.
Okay. Individuals, you have to invest in the lives of others. Guys, I know this goes without saying, but if you don't invest in the lives of others, what does that mean? I love what I do. I love it. I could not write a stinking policy right now through Allstate's wonderful computer system because it changes on a regular basis, but I can tell you everything you need to know about insurance. But most of all, what happens is I'm available. So on a street corner, at a church, at a meeting like this, someone will come up and say, I got a question for you. Okay. I'm not with you. That's okay. And they'll ask me a question about insurance. And usually that will turn into a personal relationship of talking about how did they get in that situation, what happened, what do they know about their policy, blah, 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 blah. And then I'll hand it off to someone in my office to get done, then I'll deliver it back. You have to be willing to be approachable and invest in people's lives. The bankers, how many people do we have in the banking environment here? Probably lots. Let's supplement that with how many people are in the education industry. Okay. If the two of you, those two industries, are not willing to invest in people's lives, can you make a change? Not no, but heck no. You've got to be willing to invest in people's lives. Okay? The third is influences. We're given gifts, and you've got to be willing to influence. And I am not saying that you put a placard and you stand out on the street. If God called you to do that, and that's your faith, or that's how you're going to campaign, or whatever, fine. But we're given opportunities to influence people's lives all the time. We just had a group of, Smokey, how many people do we have standing up there? 20. 20 lives right there. 20 lives that we don't know what they'll be. They might be a farmer, they might be a pharmacist, they might be a doctor, they might be the president. We have no idea. But I can promise you one thing. As an adult, we get the chance to influence their lives, do we not?
Absolutely.
I heard one. Do we not?
Yes.
Seriously, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we get the chance to influence people's lives, positively and negatively. My daughter gets up. Most of you know my daughter. She is a gift to us. Very, very gifted, and I tell her every day, Faith. No, I tell Max and Faith. The one thing I expect you to be is respectful, responsible, and a good example. And I asked them, I said, what can you impact today? They go, I know, Dad. My attitude. It's all about our attitude. That's R. If you go into E, engagement, we talked about that with influences. The third is attitude. How many of you have been around people who have that wonderful sourpuss attitude? It's not going to work well with me if you're around me. Joan can attest to this. You know, life can be a big enough struggle. We're going to come up an uphill battle. But the reality is our attitude better be right. Okay? That attitude influences everything. And I'm not real smart, but I know it even affects some of our health. So, attitude. You better be positive. You better be persistent. And you better be passionate about what you do. If you're not passionate, people know that. And I want to end with listening. There's things in life that God keeps working on you and working on and working on you, you know. Listening would be one of those things, particularly with my wife. I'm very good at listening at work. I don't know why I struggle when I get home. The rest of you just laugh, know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, exactly. I know. You've got to be willing to listen not only to your family. If you've got a strong faith, you've got to be listening to the Holy Spirit talk to you in that ear. You also got to be willing to listen to your friends. That's the hardest part, guys. Somebody may come to you and tell you something. You got to have that filter on to listen and go, all right, is this an agenda that someone's saying? We all know. I mean, in every community you have those people that have an agenda, right? And we tolerate it, we listen to it, we maybe use it. And then you have those people that come to you as a friend. And they say, you know what? I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do business with that person. I wouldn't do X. I wouldn't compromise. But in an economy like this, people are tested to see if they're willing to compromise. Compromise in their principles, compromise in what they're going to do. I'm here to tell you, if you'll just listen to me, we are very, very fortunate to be in the top 1% of the country at Allstate. Why? I'm not willing to compromise. We're not going to cheat on an application. We're not going to rebate by paying you $50 to become our policyholder. We're not going to lie on a claim. On the other hand, there are a lot of ways that I can help people. There are a lot of ways that we can go to places to help people that may have lost their job. There are a lot of ways that we can go to situations and claims and call and say, you know what? Real life situation. I had a young girl that had insurance with us for 2 months. She let it lapse. She mailed her check in, didn't get to us. Legally, you know, we got a couple attorneys in the room. Legally, she has no insurance. She nailed somebody. She killed somebody. Kitty killed somebody. It was almost $1 million lawsuit. She was in big trouble. Allstate was willing when I went to them, and I'm not saying because of me, I'm talking about the difference in having a relationship with someone. I went to Allstate and said, listen, the intention was that she would pay. She's never been late before. Well, it's only been 2 months, but she paid each time. The check was dated prior. Look at the check. Certainly we can do something. They paid the claim. That's the difference in having a relationship. Because simply she could have been online, and guess what would have happened? Allstate had all the rights to just say sorry. It's no different in your businesses, guys. The difference is you got to invest in people's lives. Okay? Appreciate it. Merry Christmas to everyone, and I hope you have a great holiday.